Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Seems Easy and I'm Diane. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. And if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll consider subscribing. It's free. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pet bed, a very comfy pet bed that my dog loves and your dog or cat will too. It's very soft and fluffy. Okay, you're going to need a piece of duck canvas or some heavy cotton. You're going to need some fleece, anywhere from ½ yard to 2 yards, depending on the size you need, and this is all going to be in the pattern. I got this 1.5 yards pre-cut at Walmart. It's about $8.88, something like that. You're going to need something to mark with. I've got a little piece of chalk here. You're going to need a measuring tape, something to measure with, because you're going to measure your pet. This is all shown how to do in the pattern. And I recommend using these little clips instead of pins, because sometimes, depending on the fleece that you've got, the pile of the fleece, pins can get lost in there, and you don't want a pin to be lost in your pet's bed. So it's best to use something like a clip. If you don't have clips, you can use safety pins. But if you do use pins, be extremely careful and make sure that you get them all out. Now, the diameter of the bed that I'm going to be making, based on the size of the pet, is going to be 18 inches in diameter. And you start with a square, which is that number of inches square. And I'm going to show you how to get a perfect circle out of a square. Fold it as neatly as you can into fourths, lining up these folds. Now down here is my folded corner, and up here are my open corners. So half of the diameter that I need is 9 inches, because I need an 18-inch circle. And since this is all folded and doubled, I'm only going to be measuring 9 inches from this corner and marking with my chalk in an arc. It's going to be an arc like this. So from that corner, just measure over and mark where 9 inches. Okay, now you want to just cut along that mark. Okay, so now we have a perfect 18-inch diameter circle. Now you're going to need to cut a circle of your fabric with in the same dimensions. And what I do to save time is I use this as my pattern. Alright, so this is the wrong side of the fabric. And from one corner of your fleece fabric, you're going to cut out a circle. What you want to do, if your duck or heavy cotton has a right and wrong side, make sure that the right side is facing away from the fleece. We're putting it on the wrong side of the fleece. And a tip, if you're not familiar with telling the right and wrong side of fleece, it's sometimes easy to tell. In this case, it is easy to tell, but it isn't always. And if you this is across the grain. These are the selvages, but across the middle of the fabric, if you pull it, it will curl one way or the other. It's always going to curl toward the wrong side. So we want to put this down on the wrong side and cut out our circle. This is going to form the base of our bed. It's sticking pretty well there, so I'm just going to now what we want to do is we want to mark an 8-inch opening, and we're going to zigzag that opening so that it doesn't fray as we're working with it. Doesn't have to be too exact, but pretty close, you know, just this is so that your hand can reach in here once we get the whole bed done and stuff it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to zigzag these edges and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. And I only pinned these so that it would kind of hold the two together. Alright, I'm going to do an elastic zigzag, which is a multiple stitch across up to the edge of the fabric so that this does not ravel, and I'm going to just do it between my 8-inch marks. What we're going to do now is we are going to zigzag around the rest of this piece, the two pieces together, leaving open where we zigzagged before. And what I always do is, if I'm sewing with pins, I'll put two pins together where I'm going to stop. So here I'm going to put two red clips. And I just happen to have green, so I'm going to use green for my starting point. So you can see that's where my zigzag, elastic zigzag is. And you see this is where I'm starting to go around the circle, and here's where I'll stop. Alright, so this is the bottom of our bed, and it will be stuffed, so we've left this opening so that we can stuff it once we've got the bolster sewn on. We're going to put this aside for just a minute. Alright, I've cut my bolster for the size that I'm going to be making. And for this size, it's just one piece bolster. And we're going to take it to the sewing machine and sew these ends together. For some sizes, you're going to need 2 of these, and you'll sew the right sides together, a 1-inch seam. And also, before I do that, I want to also zigzag across these 8-inch, because that's going to be left open. So we're going to do that the same as we did for the bottom. I've marked my start and stop with green and red, same as before. We're just doing an elastic zigzag across this opening, mostly as stay stitching. All right, now we need to put the right sides together and sew these short ends. And just as a reminder, when you pull it across the grain, the wrong side is where it curls towards. So this is the right side, and in this case we need the right sides together. Now we're going to do a straight seam, a 3/4 inch seam. All right, and now we're going to fold the wrong sides together with that seam flattened open, and we're going to clip this around, and we're going to stitch. Remember, wrong sides together. This is the right side. We're going to stitch this edge closed by using an elastic zigzag and leaving that area open that we zigzagged before. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin this, and then we'll sew it. Okay. So here's where I'm going to start in this loop, and then I'm going to stop at the 2 red clips. And remember, I'm doing an elastic zigzag just to hold these 2 edges together all the way around the circle. It may not even be necessary to clip this except to mark your start and stop. All right. All right, I've got my circular bolster, and I'm going to pin it all the way around, matching these raw edges, and I am matching up the 8-inch openings, and I'm going to put this is where I'm going to stop. And here's where I'm going to start with my 2 green clips. Okay, so just ease this all the way around, clipping. But we're going to leave this edge open. Both of these openings are going to be where you put in your fiber fill. Okay, we're going to take our polyfill, and I like to tear it off into little bunches. And here's your opening. You're going to push that around to the opposite side, and you can fill it as full as you want it, but in my experience, if it's soft, the pet likes it a little bit better. once you get it to the fullness that you want, and this is really pretty soft, we're going to sew up these raw edges. And you just kind of have to push that stuffing out of the way. Get these 4 raw edges together and pin them or clip them. All right. Now this is going to be a little tough. We're just going to do a straight stitch on those 8 inches and we'll be finished. We just kind of have to hold everything down out of the way of the needle. We're just going to do straight stitching here.